And they'll start to go, welcome, welcome. All right, we'll wait a few minutes and just have a casual conversation as we wait. We don't
like
play
that.
music at Keller Williams Southwest. We get right into meaningful conversations to move your business forward. How's it going? Are you in San Antonio or Tucson right now?
I am in Texas right now. So my kids actually tested positive for COVID about a few weeks ago. I didn't get to see them, so I came in here.
Wow.
They just tested negative early this week. They were fine. Their whole household, their mom's side, got COVID. So, Chad, are you broadcasting right now? I know.
I am. We're at 30 people and climbing. So.
All right. So they get the entertainment side. So Chad, as being a coach and a bold coach, I have magical powers, right?
Sure.
So, we get that automatically when we become bold coaches and stuff. And so a lot of people have been asking me, because they know we know things that others don't, is what's going to happen with the market, what's going to happen with COVID. And so I think I have the answer. So if you hang on, I'll show you real quick. And so this is my crystal ball, Chad.
Yeah, I like it.
And so this is now how we're going to predict the real estate market. So I'm going to do weekly predictions, and I'll send you my little videos on what the prediction of the market is. And so my prediction is 2020 is going to end up being your best learning lesson of your entire career. And because of it, you're going to be wealthy and happy and fulfilled in your life. And so that all came from the crystal ball, Chad. I got that just so.
Are we going to get an invoice from that prediction fortune telling?
No. That's free.
Wow.
That was complimentary. I just want to introduce you to what we got, some new tools we have in the maps world and bold world for predicting the future. So what's going to happen. So.
All right. Before you jump into the bold stuff, what are you seeing in your market centers in Arizona? What's some trends and patterns you're seeing with the business?
Same as what I'm hearing in Houston, to be honest, low inventory. And, obviously in Houston, your low inventory I'm hearing is a lot of based on price, and still for the most part, we're seeing low inventory. We're seeing guidelines being really weird right now on the mortgage side. Appraisals coming in a little bit low appraisal issue sometimes.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing across the board is in my market specifically is it's a skill-based market, no matter if you're on the listing side or the buyer side. You got to be a great negotiator. You got to go fight and find the listings if inventory's low. The buyer side, the skills of getting your buyer a home seems to be at a premium right now. So I think it's similar to what you're seeing in Houston, depending on, of course, your price points, is my understanding.
Yeah.
Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, it is.
The slideshow we're going to use, you and I are going to kind of ham and egg on here in a minute, is going to be about, falling in love with real estate again. But it's really just kind of a platform for saying, let's don't make this so hard. Let's don't make this so difficult. It's leads, it's listings, it's leverage.
Yeah.
That's a new concept I just heard the other day. So
yeah. Well, to some, that will be a new concept.
Right.
And yet, all right, let's jump into it. We're talking about, we bringing on our bold coach. We've seen you a lot this year. I don't know what happened, why David Jones showed up in our world this year, but probably on purpose, right? Intentional, no coincidences, as Dinah Kokoska used to say. So bold pivot. We're at it again in August. Jump into us and tell us why bold pivot. And some of us might be why bold pivot again.
Yeah, I mean, it's bold pivot. So I really want to, we can talk about bold pivot. We can talk about their real estate business. We can talk about, the things we need to know about real estate. And I don't want to make this about bold pivot. And I know that sounds like, okay, it's just a redirect. I will say this, anybody on this call, and some things I'm doing in my market centers, because I understand the value. I think bold pivot may, and a lot of people would be surprised of hearing this, I think it was a cultural event. I think it was a lot of people got in there. Biggest things we heard where people would get on it like on week 2 or 3, and they'd see, well, I thought there was 43,000 people signed up. There's only 25,000 on there. There's a lot of people that signed up out of hype. And so what I think we're now getting in the clearing section is, no matter whether bold pivot is for you, what I'm doing in our markets is I'm creating accountability groups and we're using Bold Pivot as the leverage piece for the teaching, and we're creating accountability groups to go along with Bold Pivot. So whatever you're doing right now is going into the end of the year, your second half. You know, a lot of, they've been saying for a while, this will pass, this will pass. Some of us are thinking, when? You know, we don't see this passing for a while. Our limiting, our crazy minds are going at us saying, you know what, I'm not sure this is going to pass soon. And you never know. Then you hear the president yesterday finally come out and say, you know, he said, you know, this may get worse before it gets better. So that's going to make our minds get even worse, that self-talk. So, you know, no matter if it's Bold Pivot or even Ignite, Chad, whatever it is, get your brain engaged in something that is going to get you in that world of real estate. And, you know, if you think of burnout, and, you know, this PowerPoint on, and we may use the PowerPoint, may not, is the burnout, you know, where do we fall out of love of real estate? And also, Chad, is why do people burn out?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? You see a lot of agents burn out. What are your thoughts? Why do agents burn out of real estate, get burned out?
Well, one is the leverage piece, right? If you want to go to that, they're doing too much. They're dealing with too much of the business that could have been leveraged out. Two is they don't understand their numbers. And so they create all this activity and they create all this business. And then at the end of the day, or end of the year, they look up and go, that's all I made, because they don't know where their expenses and costs of sale are going.
I call that profit dissipation. It dissipates.
Yeah.
They made all this money and it's somehow the steakhouse got it, the happy hour got it.
Yep. So not really taking that money and being intentional with it, they created. And yet, you know, at times you wake up and you close 3 deals and you were dealing with the business and you didn't keep your foot on the pedal for finding business, and then you get back on that cycle again.
Yeah.
I see that too with agents, just the lack in the consistency in the system. They don't know how they made it, and they just know they're tired and they don't know how to repeat it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you go back, why do people, now we're going to get a little bit bold on this, and that is going to be, how does somebody have a goal and stay committed to that goal, even when the times get tough? And to give you an example of that would be a kid who's a small toddler who sees a cookie on the counter.
Yeah.
That kid doesn't care how he gets it. Next thing you know, the parent, you turn around, I know your kids are grown like mine, Chris, yours is not, is you turn around, next thing you know, what happens? You're like, how in the world did that what?
To get the cookie, yeah.
How did he get up there so quick?
Yeah.
Because it was such a simple, focused, big why. And people are like, that's such a silly big why. No, it's not. They're just so focused on one thing, and they're stacking boxes, and you know like how I got up there. So, you know, when we treat little goals, I think, you know, big reason is people get burnt out, I think also is this is a simple concept. People tend to fight harder on how they do things than why they do things.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen that in Asia, so you go to an Asia and you go, hey, I got this new script, and they go, you know, that doesn't sound like me. Now, which one are they fighting harder for? How they do it or why they do it? They're fighting harder for how they do it. And so if you find yourself in here fighting any agent that's on this right here, if you've ever had just you said, oh, that doesn't sound like me. No, that's not how I do things. Just remember that if somebody came to you and said, you got a family member that needs $50,000 for a surgery, and the only person that can do it, you would be pulling you may got, hey, Chad, you know those scripts I told you I wasn't going to use?
Yeah.
Where are those scripts at right now? Because I got to go make $50,000 and I got to do it the next 6 months to help a family member out. And I need those scripts because I'm going to use them now.
Yeah.
We had a switch. And so I think that's a big reason that why people burn out is they don't have a big why. They don't have a why, a little why.
Yep.
You know?
Right.
So, and I think it's a big part of it. It's where Bold Pivot, you're talking about Bold Pivot coming in, and I got some slides at the end, and we can talk about it. I like, you know, the Bold Pivot, though, is don't make this about Bold Pivot, is make it about what do you need to get into that's going to get you into full immersion. You know, if you, there's 3 things if you want to make a breakthrough right now that you need to really make a breakthrough that I think everybody needs to re-gear themselves for right now. And this is a very simple model. One is you need to follow proven models and systems.
Right.
You know, we have those all over Keller Williams. We have those in Bold Pivot. You need to go in and follow proven models and systems. If you're going to, you know what, I'll give you a hint about following proven models and systems is anybody on here, I know people have done this, you got somebody's house and they made a cake and you had that cake and you're like, man, can I get that recipe? And they give you the recipe and you go home. And this is where people miss about following models and systems, where they go back and say, well, I don't do it Gary's way. I don't do the KW way. I don't do the MREA way. So you go home with this recipe of this cake you just had, and you make the cake, and it doesn't taste anything like your friend's cake. And so you're going like, well, something's missing here. So you call your friend up. So you got just like an agent who's doing 40 transactions a month or 20, whatever your number is you want to go to. You go to that person, you go, hey man, how you doing 20 a month? And they tell you, and then you go back and you're like, oh man, this doesn't work. You ever had somebody do say that, Chad?
Yes.
Yes. And so you
today or every day?
Yeah, you're right. That's right. Twice a day, maybe. So it's this is an absolute, everybody in this call can relate. Here's the cool thing about this conversation. I don't care if you're a new agent or doing 100 million in real estate, it's the same conversation.
Yeah.
So you go to that agent, just like that cake, and you go make the cake, and you're like, oh, I must have missed something. You guys gave me the wrong recipe. So you call them up, and they go, well, did you do this? How'd you do that? Oh, I misunderstood that. But you go back and do it again. And after a while, you keep going back. And everybody listen carefully on this about models and systems is you keep going back. You keep getting coaching. That's called coaching, by the way. Whether you're getting coaching from PC, whether you're getting coaching from even your MCA, talk about money, whatever it is, getting coaching from anybody, that's getting coaching. And next thing you know, you go, man, this does taste a little bit like her cake. And then here's what happens next. You can go add your own sprinkles to it. Then you go make your own little twist to it. You go add your own little frostings on there. You go, you know what? You know what I think would be cool? But you can't do that until you first done what? Mastered the original model.
Yep.
So if you ever go to the MREA, oh, I got it in the other room. I don't want to get up either. My MREA book. And you go to that, you know where I'm going to go to, right? The model?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know exactly.
Nice diagram. Yeah.
Yeah, the diagram of the model where the triangle's upside down or right side up. By the way, we call them triangles, not pyramids in Keller Williams.
Yeah.
That's a joke. The MCA got that one.
Yeah, I got it. Sorry, Chad, it's not coming through.
Yeah, it's not coming through.
Oh, it's not coming. 30.
No.
Pull
Back
it
it up a
away a
little
little bit. Pull it back a little bit.
Like,
Oh, you agree? Somebody you a green screen. There you
There we
go.
go.
I didn't know that was edge. Page 37.
So 37 is, and so the model is, and so guys, no matter what you adopt right now, Bold Pivot, and don't, if you did Bold Pivot in May, it's not going to be the same Bold Pivot. It's still going to be 2 hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's still going to be 2 hours of live presentations. By the way, the coaching corners are now 1 hour on Wednesdays and Fridays, so it's not so intense. And then I suggest you put an accountability group where you meet 1 hour a week and track your numbers. We're working on giving the tools, the market centers, almost a play as you go model. That's one thing we're talking about right now, Chad, is a digital model where we just send you, the guys, the leadership, a packet, and this is just plug and play. Not going to like promote, Dave Ramsey's one of my favorite, kind of like he does with Financial Peace University. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Very plug and play like. So we can get people into accountability. So I want you to think about that cake formula. So if you want to go, remember this, if you want to go from 5 transactions a month to 10 transactions a month, you're going to have to adopt a proven model and system to do it. So you go and you get a new model, and what will happen is it how long does it take for somebody truly to get coaching? It takes sometimes 3 to 6 months. I'm coaching a guy that joined my office about 6 months ago, and he came over and he said, should I, what a part of my value proposition was he wants to go from 20 to 40 million. Was I tell you what, I'm going to coach you for 6 months, and then I want you to hire a MAP coach. It's taken 6 months just to get him his head getting away from the way he used to do it. So anybody think carefully on that. In Bold Pivot, one of the keys in there is going to give you it's going to give you the recipe, and then you've got to go back. And the challenge to a digital format, remember, Bold Pivot is only $99, and it's going to give you the recipe to do it. The challenge is, unlike Bold Experience this every week, it's up to you to go back and implement it. So that's the reason I say start a group together. If you can get 30 or 40 agents to group together and really push each other, you could formulate kind of your own little simulated 4-week Bold of doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the rest of my formula, though, for breaking through to the rest of this year. One is You're going to follow proven models and systems. There you go. I knew you were looking that up just now.
It's
This
all
is,
right.
Guys, I want everybody to see this. And this was on my PowerPoint, which is funny, so that's good. Is the right side is when you do the sprinkles first. You go to your friend's house and you get the cake recipe, and you go and, oh man, this didn't work. It tastes anything like that. And you start, instead of going back to the original creator of that model, that cake, you started creativity right out of the gate. And it's always will lead to instability. It always will lead to instability in there.
Yeah.
And so this is where if you go look anybody that's grown their business a long way, you go ask them, did you ever find yourself going to the right at all? And they'll tell you yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll tell you as soon as the pain was bad enough, they went back over to the left.
Yeah.
They went back over to the models and put them in. So step one to anything you're doing right now, guys, is having proven models and systems. Follow it. Follow a recipe. Be careful though that you're not following the model of somebody who also has a very high entrepreneurial style. E to P, if you know the E to P model, I'd be disappointed if I know Chad's taught E to P a lot. And so E to P is entrepreneurial to purposeful. Be careful of taking advice from somebody who's successful. It doesn't make him a bad person, doesn't make him a bad agent, who's built it on an entrepreneurial style because it's not duplicatable. So that can be careful. So you're going to have people in your life that you're going to see and you're going to notice, man, those guys are killing it. And he may have built it entrepreneurially, and you can't duplicate entrepreneurial. You can duplicate purposeful. Would you agree with that, Chad?
I agree.
So are you looking for E to P? I knew you were. Can I take you on the road with me?
Yes. It's really easy to find, by the way. And if anybody doesn't know what website I'm going to, it's kellerinc.com. It's all filled with these charts.
Yeah. So this right here is your natural ability. So, and this right here is a lifelong process of doing this in models and systems. So you go to your natural ability, which is where you see natural ability, it's your E. Now, what happens to a lot of people is they use their E and they hit the ceiling and it hurts and they go down. And then they go back and they kind of regather themselves. And if they don't go gather and utilize foundational models, they're going to hit that ceiling again. And what happens is it doesn't have it on here, but there's a diagram that shows one where it says greener pastures.
Mm.
So you see people do things like they hit the ceiling, they break off. They hit the ceiling, they break off. And they don't truly go and adopt foundational models. And then what happens is they do things like this. They go, oh, this doesn't work. They get complacent. You know what? I'm making more money I made last year. They think changing companies is the answer. Yes, if you're not going to make an adopt model systems in Keller Williams, you're just going to go to another model. They're just going to make you feel better they're just going to boost your ego up and tell you how great you are. And you're still going to make the same money.
Yeah.
So maybe that is a win if you want to grow. People get other jobs, other industries. They go into mortgage. Open on title people. They go to become title. They try and go to title. Who knows? And they break through. So that's a great diagram right there. Good job.
Well, I would say to that too on fundamentals, it's just a solid written business plan. As much as we've talked this year about writing a 135, right? Your GPS and a 411, that is a model and system that works. And I've articulated this. I taught it in Ignite because they asked me to. It is, do you have a written business plan? That is, to me, is a model and system. Are you focusing on the things that matter most, i.e. the cookie, and having that kind of a focus on the big rocks? And I think people get scared.
I think the cookie is a great analogy because any parents that have little toddlers, you're like this. You turn around and you go like, how in the heck did that kid get up there so quick? I'm like, they're fast, and you're like, and it scares you because that kind of focus. We don't have that kind of focus anymore. We have all these other distractions, and we start saying, "Was that cookie gluten-free?" No, just kidding.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. My daughter's gluten-free, so I could joke with that. So I want to finish out this model too, because I really like the direction we went with this, Chad. And really, about 6 of these slides you showed that I had in here. So, there's a 3-part formula to having a breakthrough. And just so you know, as an OP, I went back and redid all of my, I went at it, did a new GPS for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I took the old one, I built a new GPS. I'm actually presenting it to my partners this afternoon. I'm showing my whole game plan of how we're going to get profitable, stay profitable. We're actually coming out stronger, in my opinion, because COVID was a cover for you and me and owners and businesses to do things that we've been putting off. Cut back expenses, go foundational. So this is a cover. COVID is the cover for you just to take that old business plan and throw it away and do it the way you should have done it in the first place.
Yeah.
And I know Chad and I have talked a few times and got a lot of good things. A lot of people are doing that. Look what you got going on in your world. A lot of good things going on in that world. So number one, guys, plan your rest of your year out. Look at what you want to do. Do a GPS, a 135. Turn that into a 411. Go back and follow proven models and systems just like the cake recipe. That's step one. Step two, once you've got this plan, I want you to go full immersion. Full immersion means you're going to go full speed. If you ever go to any Tony Robbins seminars, he says you don't make change subtly. We all live in Texas. I'm a Texan. So your tires are in a mud rut. You just kind of ease your way out of that mud rut. How do you get out of a rut when you're in like it's muddy and you're in that truck? How do you get out of that rut?
Hit it. Yeah.
You hit the gas and you turn the wheel. So I want you to think right now is I want you to stop tiptoeing. I want you to start getting into full immersion. I want you to think about what you can do. Full transparency on the Bold Pivot May. We came out that first week and we one of our mishits, I don't disagree with the philosophy, we just hit it too early, was 40 contacts in a day. People weren't ready for it because people were still figuring out what the heck is COVID. Now, I still believe in 40 contacts a day you should think about now, though. I think 40 contacts a day. I think you need to go and think about how do I get into full speed? How do I get into full immersion, lead generated full immersion? Double down on everything you're doing. The concept was right when we did it in May, Bold Pivot May. The timing was bad because people were so scared. It was new. We need to come from care, and we all know that in most of our areas, I'm OP in Arizona. I'm from Texas. I know you guys in Texas. Texas and Arizona became hotspots. That's worse now than it was then.
Yeah.
And so that being said, though, we're a little more familiar with it. I want you to think about full immersion, whatever that means with you. And at the same time, think progress over perfection.
Yeah.
Do something every day to move forward on this.
I was visiting with one of our ALC members and she heard the 40 contacts. She wasn't due, but it caused her to get into action and this number and she did 2.
You're right.
And she's going to close out 90,000 in gross commission income since Bold. And she was doing 2. And the part of that is, 2 might not be enough for some of you, but it caused her to get into action instead of doing nothing that propelled her business forward.
Right. And that's if you were on Bold Pivot, you'll notice that we regather ourselves. We're like everybody else is okay. People are shutting down. It's not about shutting down. So that's when we came up with this new concept of progress over perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And so don't beat yourself up. Normally as a coach, I'm going to be putting, we've adjusted our coaching a little bit on, so, we used to be like, how many checks you're going to write, all these kind of things. So, we used to have high accountability. Right now it's progress over perfection. Just keep the ball rolling, moving forward on here. So number one is follows improvement. Get your goals set. Identify what you want to accomplish in the rest of the year. Go find the cake recipe of somebody who's done it, that's on the triangle, that's on a solid foundation. Once you do that, get into full immersion, full speed, get on the phones, get into contacts. And then number 3 is spaced repetition. Figure out how you can systematically duplicate that. And I want you to think about this model. And this is very similar to the old Step Up to Mastery model, if you remember that from Bold Classic. I know a lot of people probably done, I didn't look at the participation list, but I'm going to imagine I got some friends on this list that I know. Is I want you to think about a plane taking off. And when a plane takes off, they have followed proven models and systems. Now, interesting, you know, you hear about the 737 MAX. They actually bypassed some systems, and that plane got grounded and people died. So I think they've learned their lesson, but you know, we want that pilot to follow systems. We want them to follow a model. We want the plane manufacturer to make every plane the same way. That's following proven models and systems. And then when the pilot gets in the pilot seat and he's ready to take off, he goes full speed. He's not going half speed. I even asked the pilot one time, I was sitting next to a pilot who was deadheading, and I asked him, I said, can I ask you a really dumb question? Southwest Airlines. And I go, when you take off, do you go full speed or is there some abbreviation? Because rarely in my car do I hit full speed. Not in Tucson, we don't have a freeway system. And there's so much traffic in Houston, y'all don't go full speed either. So you know what he said? He goes, we give the plane 100% of what the engine has.
Wow.
And I said, oh, really? He goes, well, it's built that way. It's built to take the stress. Y'all heard the Chuck Yeager story.
Yep.
He says, you go full speed. We don't give anything less. It's everything we got. And then I want you to think about it. He's full speed, full speed, full speed because he's breaking through gravity. And then once he gets up to that leveling, and you'll think about this, is, and now he's operating off systems. He's operating off space repetition. He's coming in, he's checking. All right, how am I doing on now, his computer's doing all of this. Now, we all know that. His computer's doing it, I get it. And what I want you to realize is that the plane is checking and making adjustments all the way. Everybody got that?
Yeah.
It's making, so you do the same thing with your business. You get going, follow some proven models. Go into full immersion. Take that baby in the air. Get up to altitude, and then make your adjustments. That okay, this isn't working. All right, this isn't working. And go back and check it. So, you know, that is, to me, I'm a simple-minded guy. I like simple. Go figure out your cookie on the counter. Okay? Find a model that'll get you that cookie. Don't have 10 cookies. Have one cookie. There's another book. What's it called? I'm naming the book. What's the book called? The
One Thing.
The One Thing. It's called The One Thing. Now, it doesn't mean you can't. I mean, I got multiple businesses running. You go Chad. I know he's got some new things going as well. You know, it doesn't mean, it just means we have one focus right then.
Yeah.
One thing at a time.
One thing at a time. Exactly. Thank you. And so then I want you to think about that spaced repetition, and I want you to think about how you can systematically run your business. Now, what's one thing what somebody can come up with that everybody in our company has, that if they utilize at a high level, they can maintain systematically a business at a high level with less energy? What's that program that everybody has access to? Command. Command will allow you to operate your business. A lot of people come back and say the things you can use is very utilizing. What is it called? Opportunities is working very well. Contact, staying in contact. I put a bunch of people on Drip Campaign. I put myself on. I'm like, this is pretty cool. It's just staying in front of them. It's not the end all. It's just a system to maintain. So those are I think those are good conversations right now. Where does Bolt Pivot come in? Bolt Pivot is a place to get your models and systems, get your head in the game. And if it's not Bolt Pivot, get off your couch and go do something. It's just Bolt Pivot's only $99. You got great people. Steve Schluter, one of my best friends, is in charge of kind of with the writers on Rewrite. We got more guests coming. And I got one thing right now that may convince you to do Bolt Pivot. It's only $99. I get it. Gary Keller is going to be on the first live stream. So that's worth $99 in itself right there. So.
All right. We actually had some on the call that says, I'm new. I don't even know what Bold Pivot is.
Yeah. I appreciate that, by the way.
Yeah.
Bold Pivot. So the Bold Experience was what we've known forever, and we're all very bold. Matter of fact, I'm doing a good job. I wore my purple today. Bold is a transformational program that allows us to work on two things, kind of a couple things at once: mindset, how we think, skills, and habits. And it is by the way, just so everybody knows, Bold by design, the Bold Experience, which is 7 weeks in the room at your location, like I would travel to you. Bold Pivot is a transformational immersion program. I want everybody to don't know two ways about it. Bold Pivot is our digital delivery of Bold, the best we can do in a digital model.
Yeah.
And Bold Experience is $799 with high results, because it's real intense accountability. And Bold Pivot is just the digital version. It's only $99, so you can't compare the two. I'm really glad the price is so dramatically different because nobody come in and go, well, it's not like the Bold experience. We agree. Now, we are working on some models next year, if this continues, to how we can duplicate a similar Bold experience somewhat digitally. This is where most of my meetings come right now as one of the Bold head coaches. So in Bold Pivot, you're going to learn the basic models and systems of how to stay in touch with your database. You're going to have mindset training on how to think differently, how to think about money differently, some budget stuff's in there, believe it or not, scripts and dialogues. I think I hit it, just skills and mindset all put together. So Bold Pivot is Tuesdays and Thursdays from
What time? 1 to 3, right?
What's that?
Yeah, 1 to 3.
1 to 3. Yeah, I had to convert time zone. I think so. From 1 to 3 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the coaching corner, which is more coaching based, is on Wednesdays and Fridays. And my suggestion is you put together a local accountability group. Get an ALC member, somebody who's passionate about this, somebody who wants to even work on their leadership skills. Take lead on that is what I suggest. So it starts August 4th. And I think we're better. We can follow up with information. I'll just verbalize this instead of showing screens. Starts on August 4th. That is the first live stream, and it's 4 weeks long, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then Wednesdays and Fridays. So I think that answers it. And I saw some people on here that said, I think I said, where do I sign up? How do I get more information on Bold Pivot? There's some Bold Pivot right there. It's coming. Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Okay.
So anything else, Chad, you can think of that you need me to bring up? I think those are good topics for kind of going in. Guys, it's not about Bold Pivot. Yes, I want you to do Bold Pivot. It's not about Bold Pivot. It's about you getting into full immersion. It's about you getting engaged. Get off the couch. Governor of Arizona is really funny the other day. I was watching his press conference, and we're telling everybody to get off the couch. He told everybody to go back to the couch and watch Netflix. I'm saying, no. In their offices, making calls at least. So
you can watch Netflix. It just needs to be like after 7 p.m. after you do the job. There's some good shows out there.
Yeah.
Next question is Bold Pivot be offered again in the fourth quarter?
We're going to do it. I believe the plan, and as everybody knows, things a lot of fluidity. So the word pivot has given us permission to pivot. October, I believe. August and October. And then you have mega camp in between. So plenty of places for you to stay engaged and stay involved in this whole thing. So plenty of places to do that.
Okay.
That was Keith. Thank you, Keith.
Yeah.
Keith, looking good. I like watching you all that exercise you're doing, man. Good stuff.
Yeah. Any other questions that you guys might have for David while we have him on here before we pivot and do something else?
Is my name on your roster? Is my name on your roster yet?
Is your name on the roster yet?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I should be. You
can be on my roster. Just $80 a month.
Oh, got it. Well, that wasn't funny.
And when you sell real estate in Houston, we could help it a little bit. Hey, and on this last piece, you're married to a successful real estate agent.
Yeah.
I know you take credit for her production, which I don't blame you. But tell me, how's her business right now? How's Tracy's business?
She had 29 closings in June, and the Tucson team and our San Antonio team, I think, had 15 closings.
Wow. And where is she getting that business? What is she doing?
This is part of reorganizing that one is because it's a little bit entrepreneurial, I'll be honest with you. So, just want everybody to know that it's not a perfection. This is a process. It's progress over perfection. We're going back right now. Most of it's database.
Yeah.
75% of it is referrals. They're just a lot of momentum got created off of energy that's been created from things like Bold Pivot May. They all lead generated every day before Bold Pivot. Yeah. Their model was lead generate, watch Bold Pivot, go to appointments.
Yeah.
And that momentum has almost taken them where it became a spiral. So a lot of referrals.
Yep. That's awesome.
Yep.
All right.
Sabana said, will the format be the same for August 4th Bold? I'm guessing that you're meaning the same as May Bold. It's the same format. You're going to see adjustments, and some of the basic stuff that doesn't need to change, like the MREA, is not changing. You're going to see more guests additional scripts, things like that. That's going to be added in. So it won't be a mirror image of Bold in May. Okay. Thanks, Sapana. I think that answers your question, Sapana.
Sapana.
Sapana. Oh man, I like saying her name right too. She was in Bold with me last time I did it. And by the way, the last time I was in Bold, the last day I was in the Bold room was in Sugarland.
Yep.
I mean, I left that. We left that Bold, and it just went south from there.
Either that day or the day before is when they canceled the rodeo.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I think it was the day before because I think I was there at my hotel when they canceled it. Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, we even thought step 7 we were kind of worried. Remember?
Yep. Yep.
So.
So
Carla
David,
asked, will command be added to Bold Pivot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking. Matter of fact, there's gonna be additional things added to Bold Pivot as ancillaries, videos that will help you along the process with Bold Pivot. So yes.
so if an agent took Bold Pivot in May, should they take it again in
Oh
August?
yeah, hands down. Remember, it's an immersion program. You cannot learn things too many times, especially proven foundational models.
Yeah.
So you go back and look at great chefs. They didn't just go get one recipe and learn how to do it. They went back and they had, I need to start working on how I do my sauces now. So you can start breaking it down. It's Bold Pivot is just a place for you to go get into immersion and relearn those foundational models. Gary says you should read a book 10 times. Take Bold 10 times. Bold Pivot, just make it part of your self-growth and what you're doing.
Yep.
And if you don't do Bold Pivot, do something else. I don't know what you would do to get into immersion or something like get your head in the game. Just do something right now to get your business re-emerged up where you want to go.
Agree.
So,
all right.
Good time.
All right. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Always a
Good to see
pleasure
you.
having you on.
Thanks, David.
Thanks. Always
All right.
good. Thanks, Chad.
You bet. All right. Take care. All right. Before we bring on our other partners, I wanted to have a little leadership conversation around technology. That's why I got Krista, Norman, and Nikki on the call. We were having discussion as a leadership team that just the struggles that we have, the challenges of going all into one platform, right? And the battle is to use one platform that's owned by Keller Williams, meaning owned by you as agents, and stop using a bolt-on technology that's owned, right? That's the battle of dotloop. dotloop's owned by Zillow. And the quicker we can get out of that system, the more we're going to protect us as real estate agents. Now, so the first conversation is coming up is that green sheets went away. Let me say that again because some of you missed that. Green sheets went away. And now if I want to get paid, I got to be in command, right, for the commissions piece of that. So what's some challenges, either Krista, Norm, any of you can jump in. What's some challenges that you see facing with that, and how could you help walk an agent through that?
Well, the biggest challenge I see is that an agent never really actually got immersed into command at all.
Okay.
They haven't come to class. They haven't, if they did, they didn't put anything in context. They didn't continue using it. That's the biggest challenge I get. And then all of a sudden they have a closing coming up and, what do I do? Where is this? What I do?
Okay, so what's your suggestion? Where do I go?
Well, we do have the kwsw25.com site. And in there, under the training videos for command, is I actually selected 5 videos. One was the contacts, the opportunities, the commissions part of it, and then 2 more for using dotloop to get there, okay, and connecting it up with command for right now. That's the easiest way to do it. I have a very simple, short and easy video that walks you through it with just a very bare minimum of things you need to do in each section to get paid.
Okay.
And
I know that.
Yeah, go ahead, Nikki. Go ahead.
I know that Norman also created a very good cheat sheet for whoever is not really comfortable or wants to take the time to watch the video. He created a very effective cheat sheet on how to navigate through the process. I think that one of the most challenges that the agents are facing, it's the distinguishing the compliance side from the commission side. So Compliance, it still is in Dotloop. You will not upload the documents in Command yet. You will upload them in Dotloop, submit for compliance. And at that point, when you get the email from Maryland that says you met compliance, at that point, you need to go in Command and submit your commission.
Yeah, and I'll
Getting a little
back that up just a second, because you want to submit your commission before compliance is met. That way, once it's met, your CDA is turned around even faster and they're not having to wait on the commission request to do so. But yeah, Nikki, exactly what you're saying. I've heard a bunch of that, agents calling in and forgetting or not understanding that the compliance piece has not yet moved into Command. That is still in Dotloop. We had looked at pushing it in a couple of months ago, and there were a few roadblocks, and to avoid the frustration that our agents were going to feel if we had pushed into Command at that point, we delayed the Dotloop push into Command. So once we get into late August, early September, that's our next tentative date for pushing into Command. We're getting, we're crossing all of our T's, dotting all of our I's, making sure that it is robust enough to handle the volume that we're doing here. And then we're going to be pushing out, and you'll see notices on Facebook and emails and texts about getting your compliance in Command. But for now, just like you were saying, all the compliance needs to be done in Dotloop, and your commission request needs to be done in Command. Now, the biggest challenge that agents are having is they're not starting in Command. They're starting the old way, which is they don't turn their documents in until they're ready to close. And I know some of you might be laughing to yourselves, right? We all know that we've been there. So instead of waiting, go ahead and get your contact in the beginning once you start making that relationship. And the whole process is easier at that point. But if you're waiting till the very end, it is going to be more work.
That'd be opportunities, and opportunities is the super highway of Command, right? You got to use opportunities because you put your contact in, you create your pipeline in your opportunity, and then everything will start to flow.
But it's also a great way to keep track of your numbers, right? Opportunity gives you like a good overlook of what is your next months are going to look like, right? What do you need to work on? And I think it's a great opportunity to have everything in one place instead of going around and trying to find contacts over here and documents over there. But I want to add one more thing, and Krista can kind of confirm. I got a lot of calls for it's taking long to meet compliance. So please, guys, keep in mind that every time that you just even open a document in the loop that you submit for compliance, you're going to go kicked back at the end of the line. So Krista had a great advice of download all the PDFs of your documents that you have in Dotloop if you have to keep opening it up, and go back and look at option periods or things like that, because otherwise you're going to take longer to meet compliance, and then it's like a domino effect on everything else.
Yeah, so like David was talking about systems, you have to create systems for success and running a successful business. We have a system with compliance, and the system is the last updated. We have a way to sort so that the first person that submits their file is the first one that gets reviewed, and the second one, and so forth, right? And that's fair, and that works. The system limitation we run into is when you go in and you update something in your loop, or even just open a document, it makes it look like you just updated it. And so your last submission date is now today. So you get put to the very back of the line. So instead of opening your document, download the PDF if you know you got to go into your contract and reference things. That way, once you hit that submit for review button, don't go into your loop anymore until it's been approved for compliance. That way, you're not pushing your place back in line over and over and over again.
Very good. All right, couple of questions, Norman. When will you teach smart plans?
Oh, it's coming up. I saw that come through. So this past Tuesday, I did a setup and a marketing profile. That's the very first step. And then tomorrow, Cynthia and Ken is going to do contacts. Next week, we're going to schedule your smart plan. And then we'll continue doing smart plan, opportunities, commissions.
And if you want to learn about it, where can I go find it today to watch a video?
Oh, you can actually go search for Marty Miller's videos. He does the Command 66-Day Challenge. I love his videos. They're short, 5 minutes.
Where?
On YouTube. Okay, so you would just search YouTube for it. Namesh has already made some videos, and you can search for it in the kwsw25.com also, and it's in the video section.
Okay. All right. The next question was, when is the official day we end the communication with dotloop? I missed this. Okay. Here's what we're doing. It dotloop will always be an option for you in command. We will not take that away from you. And yet you get to shoot. When do we move to DocuSign in command? You can use that, yet compliance is a different piece. So the compliance piece, by the end of August, September, we're looking to do compliance inside of command using the DocuSign template. You can still do it in dotloop and then transfer it over compliance, or you can use DocuSign in command. Now remember, some people get excited about using DocuSign. It's not the same DocuSign that you would be outside of command. So we kind of want to start everything in it. Can you start using DocuSign now? Yes, you can. Just know when you go to compliance, you're going to need to bring all those forms over to dotloop today. But yes, you can get in there and use it. Did I misspeak or any clarity that we can give on that?
Yeah, so you have to remember that right now we use dotloop for 2 reasons, and we like to lump them together and we forget that it's 2 different functions. One function is e-signature. You send your documents and they can get signed electronically.
Your transaction, yeah.
The other function is compliance review. But those are 2 completely different functions. They just happen to be in the same system right now. What we're switching at the end of August is the compliance review portion. We're switching to command.
Yeah.
Now, we haven't advertised a drop dead date yet because we're still finalizing. So towards the end of August, beginning of September, we're going to be getting out much more details. Just be prepared. It'll be right around that time. So at that time, we're going to move the compliance into command. The e-signature piece, we will encourage everyone to do in DocuSign.
Yeah.
However, you can continue to do the e-signature piece in dotloop should you desire to, and it will communicate with command.
And you can do e-signatures in other systems, not just dotloop,
Zip forms,
DocuSign, zip forms. Yes, those are all your choices. And if you get frustrated, don't forget, we do have some transaction coordinators. Mary Kate would be an example. If you're at the end of the transaction for an easy flat fee, she'll just do it all for you.
And that's a great option.
Yeah. Anything I missed on the technology piece before I bring on our next group that you might want to cover when it comes to getting paid?
I do just want to throw out there that if you just want a time to chat with leadership on Friday afternoons, Keith is hosting a leadership unplugged from 4 to 5. You can just jump on, ask any question, whether it's technology or running a business or lead generating, anything you have. We're going to have 1, 2, 3 different leadership members available to answer your questions. I think Norman, you're going to be on this week with Keith. Is that right? Yep.
I'll be on this week.
Yep, 4 o'clock every single Friday. Just hop on, bring whatever question you want to talk about.
And that link will be on the KWSW25. We'll email it out, but it's every Friday, right? From 4 to 5, you got a good way to plug into your leadership kind of unplugged. Okay, awesome. All right, one last thing before I bring it in. The platform and the technology, I want you guys to really understand what we're building. Right? It's building a platform. Other companies say, oh, we have a platform, and they really don't. They have bolt-on technology, and yet we're building our own system. Is it perfect? It is not a perfect system. Are there things that work well right now? Yes, I will tell you. Contact, right, management works well. I believe opportunities works well. Smart plans works well. So even if you come in and you embrace just one of those pieces, now we're forcing you to get paid, so you got to use the system, and it is forcing you. I mean, I wish I could call it different, but we're creating a better system when it comes to running a market center, which in tune will be a better system to serve you as well. But if you need to know more about this technology, right, go read. This is the 4th Industrial Revolution. Go read up on it. It's big data. It's artificial intelligence. That's why that Zillow email came out, meaning you need to select out because they want to use your data against you. Now, as a brokerage, we opted out, making sure they can't use our data at this time. But that is a battle. And if you haven't seen that coming, you really do not need to understand that. And so when you get in there and you get frustrated in this system, just know this is a system that's not going away. It's not like in 2 years we're going to go, oh, we have a totally different system. No, it'll be built upon. It'll be really fantastic. Just embrace the tool that we have. Get your contacts in there. Get them on smart plans. Use opportunities. Great tools. Okay, anything I missed? All right, I'm jumping into our next group. Hopefully they come. I put them on hold, and so they keep trying to get in and out along the way. All right. Reliant, you're up first. Your picture came up. You're ready. Tell us what's going on in your world.
Oh, she's muted.
Everybody, my name is Yi Lin. I noticed a lot of people, a lot of new agents here don't know how to do the referral program. I'm going to text my message first, okay? And this month, we still have the contacts, okay? The first page will be $100, second page will be $50. So far, we have 6 referral. I have closed 6 referral. How the referral work is like, if you refer me with your client friends, if they sign up for the term plan, you get $75 worth. I mean, you get points. That's worth $75. Okay. If they sign up for home security, and then the points are worth $250. So it's really easy. All you need to do is just share their contact with me, their phone number and name.
All right, let me help you with this. Agents out there, you have a concierge service, right? Everybody buys a home, rents a home, needs the utilities set up. You're like, you tell your client, look, I have a concierge service. It's built with Reliant. They'll give you a quote on your insurance. We'll help you get your other utilities and things in home security. I'm going to give them your number. Would you please take their call to make this an easy transition? And then just get out of the way and let you do your job.
Yeah, also
Okay.
we have this special way for agent. I mean, if for your house, we give you really low way, okay?
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
you also get 5% off. Okay,
Okay.
keep it coming. I need that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, celebrity title.
Hi, hello everyone. I want to talk today about something that's affecting COVID-19 and you guys and all of what's happening to you. I want to talk about probate real quick. So if somebody dies with a will, as we all know, they go through probate, their assets are separated, everything tends to go very easily because they've already designated who gets what and how, and then you get the listing and everything is easy peasy and we're great. But if somebody does die intestate, which means with no will, that's a whole different gamut. Right now we have a lot of people who may be passing, unfortunately, and didn't have an opportunity to put themselves in a position to write down their assets and where they wanted things to go. What does that mean for you as a listing agent? What does that mean for you as a buying agent? How quickly can something close? So if someone dies without a will, the soonest that they can close, generally speaking, this is all underwriters who get to control this, but generally speaking, it's 9 months. So die today, 9 months before the house can sell. What that means for you is you got a listing, which is great, or you have a buyer that loves it. But the reason why is because what they're waiting for is they're waiting for the affidavit of heirship has to be filed so that we know who actually owns the property at this point. And then they're waiting for all those bills to come in. They're waiting for everybody to get paid. And so that way there's no liens that happen after the closing. So we do have underwriters that we work with at Celebrity Title that are a little bit more lenient on that 9 months that can kind of bring that in a little bit sooner. I would probably say 6 months, maybe the soonest. But generally speaking, most underwriters, no matter what title company you're with, no will, dies today, it's going to be 9 months before that house can go out there and get sold. So I just want you guys to be aware of that, just because it's very important with what's happening today. You might be trying to help someone out. You have a young widow who has children. They can't afford the house. They want to get out of it. They want to get out of it quickly. How quickly can that happen? I want you all to be educated on how quickly can that happen, and what does that really mean to those families that are trying to deal with that, because that makes a huge difference when you're going out there talking to people. And I want you to be sensitive of the situation and not think that you can fix their need immediately, because I don't want you to overpromise something that you can't really deliver on.
Well, there's a lesson in that. You can be proactive, and what can you do?
Well, you can get a will.
Yeah, well, I know people on this call, right now, do not have a will in place. And 2 is, that's a simple message that you can deliver to your database of, hey, this is, things are changing, you never know. And
Yes.
give them a contact of somebody who could help draft one up, a good attorney if it has to be more complex. Great
So-
lesson, because we know that could really slow down and be a burden.
So I'll get with the rest of your team
Yeah.
to give you guys options for educating yourself on that.
Yeah.
The probate, we have a probate lawyer that we work with Celebrity Title, who does a CE class. So I'm going to get with Southwest just to make sure we get that on the record. I know
Yeah.
we offered it before. Maybe it wasn't as something that you were really interested in before, but things are changing. We're evolving. We want to make sure we keep you guys educated.
Okay, all right, great. Dale didn't want to stay in his office. He wanted to come to me, so I had to give up
Dale,
my
you're
seat.
back.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Welcome back.
How are you all? So to touch a little bit on what Leticia was talking about, I just had a person who lost his wife in April. They both had wills. They have been married for 40 years. She passed away. They were looking to do a refinance on their house. Well, she had a son prior to the marriage. That son is an heir to her estate. So where the issue now becomes, even though they had a will, even though the will was written to give all assets and all rights to the current home to the husband, the son was required to sign an heirship affidavit. Okay, the heirship affidavit is a little complex in some ways, because they also want to know in the past who knew the 2 people as being a married couple. We had to go back and find people who have known them for a minimum of 10 years in order to push this forward, because the will was never probated. So just because you have a will, you could still, in the transaction, have a delay if there are children or other heirs from a previous marriage. So finding out if there was a death in one case for a spouse or one of the potential sellers, you need to get that clarified. That's a big hiccup that could delay a transaction. So I got a big call today from an agent, and as you know, everyone in the business is just completely swamped. We order appraisals and have access to order them on and a rush. A VA appraisal right now cannot be rushed. The VA orders the appraisal, and the appraisers have a minimum of 10 business days to complete that. The VA is taking, in some cases, a full week to 2 weeks just to assign the appraisal. If I add another 2 full weeks to the transaction, I'm at almost 30 days in a transaction without even having an appraisal. We might potentially have appraisal issues. There could be value issues that are 30 days into the transaction. I'm only saying this because I want you all to manage and set the expectations for your transactions. This agent that called me today wrote a 25-day close on a contract and has 14 other transactions that are tied to this transaction. When I told him that he is really pushing the envelope, and I said there's things that are way out of our control in appraisers and surveyors and title and just the volume of loans being done, that you want to know for certain that this can happen on time. So we're jumping through hoops to even make a 25-day close happen right now. So you can imagine the headaches that could go along. So there's no guarantee the other transactions are going to close on time, but know through contact with your lenders, whoever you're working with, that the transaction can happen. Set those expectations.
That it?
That's it.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Chad's coming back.
I'll get back my seat. Always an interesting time here at Keller Williams Southwest playing musical chairs. Dale's been doing so many loans he can't get his camera to work on his computer. I appreciate you guys joining us today. Anything else that we want to final message or miss?
Look for a weekend workshop for everybody that works full-time, has not attended any class. We're doing a weekend workshop, not this weekend, but the next weekend. Details to come, okay? And there's going to be 3 other offices involved in this workshop. So we're going to have a big group. It will be 2 hours long. We're not going to make it 4 hours, a whole day. It's going to be 2 hours. We're going to touch on everything you need to know in just like contacts, opportunities, your smart plans, and getting paid, okay?
Awesome. Okay, don't forget, we got Bold Pivot August 4th. Mega Agent Camp will be coming in September. Will be virtually, right? We're not rushing to jump back into it as well. For the I can tell you for the next at least 3 months, team meetings will be here in the same place on Zoom. We're just not rushing to put 70, 80, 100 people in our training room. I can't wait for that time, by the way, right? That's fun for me. But just hang on. If there's any way that we can be a resource from you, from getting paid to compliance to just starting up anything in command, or you just need a good consultation, or you need to go back to models and systems and have a good business plan for a 411, right? A 135, have a written business plan. We're here to help you.
And don't forget, this Saturday, we have Shredding Hunger.
Oh yeah, thank you.
We want to support the East Fort Bend Human Needs Ministry. This Saturday, how does it work? Well, push out the flyer to your clients. It's already been pre-designed for you. You can brand it to yourself, send it to them, let them know they can bring all of their shredding paper from tax filing time, anything that they have, along with a canned good donation. Drive up to the office on Saturday between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. They'll just drop it off. They don't even have to get out of their car. They'll drop off the paperwork. They'll shred it right there and drop off the cans, and we'll support a really great ministry.
Where do I find the flyer?
I know Barbara sent it out. We also texted it out. Norman, where can they find the editable version online if they didn't get either one of those?
It's also on the kwsw25.com. Under resources, you'll find it there.
Perfect.
Have you heard that site a lot? kwsw25.com resource. We built that because of this pandemic. Virtually all your sites, everything that you would need is all right there at your disposal.
Yeah, and Greg just posted a link directly to it in the chat box.
Awesome. Okay, good stuff. A lot going on. Keep in front of your clients. This is still a big time, right? I will tell you, I was on another call with top people, and what wins, and David said it too, is reach out to the people closest to you. Do a forward call, right? Check on their family, their occupation, their recreation, their dreams. Have those dialogues. It's just a natural. That's where the top people are really killing it right now.
Yeah.
And we do need more listings, by the way, if you haven't heard that. Go find them. Do not let them go to brand X, whoever you want to call that. We want them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Awesome, guys. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.